Good morning. I trust your week is off to a good start. Mine is. I went out this morning and tilled up about a 6 foot square area in our garden to plant some turnips, radishes, and lettuce. So get my fall garden going. We've been had a terribly dry summer. I haven't mowed my yard since the first part of August, and parts of it need mowing, but the rest is so brown that I hate to damage the yard. So I'm waiting for the rain. Hopefully it will come. The forecast has said it is for a number of different times, but hasn't done very much. So anyway, this week, great week. It's to think about cultural differences and ethnicities, but also about belonging. And I think this concept of belonging is crucial. We think if a person comes and sits for worship, they belong, but maybe they feel they're not belonging. And so in Myers, he presents some fallacies about belonging in chapters 1 to 3 that we're to read this week, and our discussion board parallels that, which raises the question, which myths of belonging, according to Myers, surprised you the most, and elaborate on that in your discussion board. We also have the video, Sacred Space, which is an excellent video, and again I say, be sure you watch it, not just read it. If you only read it in the script, you miss so much. Well, you don't see this hand shaking. You don't see that accent of emphasis. And so you need to watch the video. Then the assignment for this week is based upon Branson and Martinez's conviction that every church, if it's going to be healthy, needs to be multi-ethnic. Now, I don't agree with that. There are two different concepts of church growth. One is homogeneous. The congregation is very similar throughout, and the other perspective is very diverse. Now, obviously, for a church to be very diverse, it has to live in a community that's very diverse. So you need to think that through, and while it says, what can you do to minimize or overcome those, you can also write it from the other perspective of saying, for our homogeneous congregation to have a spiritual impact on the community, we need to, and elaborate on it from there. I also want to remind you of upcoming weeks. Week 5 has 3 assignments. Now, that's pretty heavy, and I'm sorry, but that's the way the course was structured. And the third assignment is the demographic analysis. Now listen to what I want to say about demographic analysis. For those of you who live in a metropolitan area, I don't want the entire city of Chicago demographics. Choose your neighborhood, your zip code perhaps would be a good place to start, or something of that nature. So it's the community around your church. So that's the issue that you need to think about. If you have questions about that, feel free to call me. And there are very specific factors that you need to include in that demographic analysis, and they are outlined in week 5 assignments in the Blackboard. So be sure to carefully consider that. For some of you who live in rural areas, it may be the county, it may be the city that you're in, so you have to personalize that. So that's week 5. Week 6 is when you interview your pastor, and week 6 is only 3 weeks away, and that's the good time to get an appointment made with your pastor. And then the next week is when you interview 4 to 7 diverse congregants, and diverse, I mean racially, gender, married or unmarried, length of time in the church, married, single, widowed, diverse. I don't want to be interviewing 4 to 7 men who are my age and get their opinion. No, I want men and women's opinions. I want young and old. I want longtime members and those that have been members a shorter period of time. So that's a big assignment, and you need to begin getting those people lined out, and maybe entice them with ice cream or a good lasagna meal or something like that. But that's keep that in mind. So then the 8th week is when you put all the things of the demographics, the pastor interview, the congregational interview, the material from belonging, and material from this and material from that into a final paper. So plan ahead so you don't get hung, and God bless you, and have a fantastic week.